Hey, what's up guys? Aaron here, and today's video is a versus and comparison video between the Samsung Galaxy Note 8.0 and the Apple iPad mini. Now let's jump straight into the comparison, starting off with the design and the hardware. Now the iPad mini has a 7.9-inch LED backlit multi-touch display with IPS technology with a screen resolution of 1024 by 768 for an effective PPI of 163. Now the Note 8.0 has an 8-inch WXGA 1280 by 800 super clear type LCD display with an effective PPI of 189. Now the Apple iPad mini comes in 16, 32, and 64 gigabyte options. The Note 8.0 has 16 and 32 gigabyte options with the option of the installation of up to a 64 gigabyte micro SD memory card. And both the iPad mini and the Note 8.0 have a cellular option, and the Note 8.0 goes as far as offering the ability to make actual physical phone calls on the device itself. Now the Note 8.0 has a 1.3 megapixel VT front-facing camera capable of recording 720p HD video, while the iPad mini has a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera capable of capturing 720p HD video with backlit illumination and face detection. The rear-facing camera on the iPad mini is a 5 megapixel shooter with autofocus, face detection, backside illumination, and comes with the f2.4 aperture capable of capturing 1080p HD video with tap to focus and video stabilization, while the Note 8.0 has a 5 megapixel rear-facing camera with tap to focus, and Samsung says they rate their rear-facing camera in the same class as a digital camera. I really don't take pictures with a tablet, but I would have liked to see a LED flash implemented on both devices. The Note 8.0 weighs 11.7 ounces and the iPad mini tips the scales at just 308 grams. The iPad mini is running Apple's iOS 6 powered by a dual-core A5 processor with 512 megabytes of RAM. The Note 8.0 has a 1.6 GHz quad-core Exynos processor with 2 gigabytes of RAM. One of the biggest selling points of the Note series devices by Samsung is, of course, the S Pen. Now, Samsung has raised the sensitivity here on the 8.0 S Pen and is very much more sensitive than on the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. Now, Samsung is using the Wacom technology, which makes the S Pen 10 times, if not 20 times more sensitive than your average stylus, and takes full advantage of the proximity wear and the touch sensitivity that Samsung has mastered in the Note lineup. The iPad mini is running Apple's very simplistic yet effective iOS 6 OS, while the Note 8.0 is running a skinned version of Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, and that skinned version being, of course, the famous TouchWiz UI. The Note 8.0 has a 4600 mAh 4-cell lithium polymer battery. The iPad mini has a 4400 mAh battery, and the iPad mini and the Note 8.0 both come with LTE if you choose the cellular version of both the units. Next up, I ran some speed tests and benchmarks on both devices. On the iPad mini, we get a ping of 50, download of 6.49, upload of 0.95. We get a ping of 53, a download of 10.10, and an upload of 1.47 on the Note 8.0. Next up, we ran some benchmarks via Geekbench and GL Benchmark, and you can see here that we are stressing the GPU and CPU out. We get a total score of 762 on the Apple iPad mini, and on the Note 8.0 we get a score of 6,000 plus. Now with the Note 8.0 having a quad-core Exynos processor clocked at 1.6 gigahertz, I wanted to see exactly how it would test out and see what kind of scores we get on the CPU and GPU separately. We're going to get a score of CPU 7757 and GPU 5056. Now, when it comes to real-world testing and actual web browsing experience, we can see here that we get a flawless experience on both devices. We got some page scrolling going on here on the Apple iPad mini. You can see it's very fluent. Now we're switching over here to the Note 8.0, and in my opinion, it's very fluent as well. You can see here I'm speeding up the pace, and the pinch to zoom works extremely well on both devices as well. I didn't see any lag on both. They're extremely acceptable when it comes to web experience. And here we can see how crisp the text looks on both devices, and in my opinion, they are up to standard. Now when it comes to the rear-facing camera, we both have 5 megapixel shooters, and you can see that the image quality looks very nice. We have image stabilization and tap to focus. We also have perfect color saturation and exposure on both devices. Now upon testing the camera in both low light and very well lit situations, I got very good results coming from both elements. Now on the Note 8.0 we're going to get a 1.3 megapixel front facing camera, and on the Apple iPad mini we have a 1.2 megapixel front facing camera And to let you guys know, to be honest, I can't really tell the difference when it comes to the video footage. Now, when it comes to the rear-facing camera, both devices are capable of shooting 1080p HD video at 30 frames per second. And once again, when it comes to the rear-facing camera, both are extremely up to par, and in my opinion, both are suitable for taking photographs. Once again, I don't take photographs on my tablet, but if you do, then you will be happy with the results from both. Now, when it comes to typing on the Apple iPad mini, we have two ways of inserting text. One is voice recognition, and the other way, of course, being simply just typing in the message. Now, when it comes to the Note 8.0, we can use the S Pen to input text by simply writing what we want to write, and of course, the option to enter text standard with the keyboard. And we also get voice recognition features here as well on the Galaxy Note 8.0. Now, also included along in the S Pen features is the option to hover over subjects and see the actual contents of the category before you open it, as well as the option to hold the S Pen button and double tap on the screen to bring up the option to take a note anytime that you want to, which in my opinion is a very useful feature. Next up is gaming, and I thought the Note 8.0 would absolutely blow away the iPad mini for the fact that it has a 1.6 gigahertz quad-core processor, as well as 2 gigs of RAM and 1280 by 800 display. But I would have to tell you guys, in real world performance, you're not going to notice any type of difference, and in my opinion, they look extremely similar when it comes to gaming, and especially with the tablets right next to each other. You can definitely tell that they look very similar to each other. We have no fragmentation, and it's extremely fluent, and we experience no lag in either unit. Next up is YouTube HD video playback. Now, the Apple iPad mini can't truly play back a video in HD for the fact that the screen resolution is not higher than 1280 by 720. But as you can see, side by side, both videos look extremely well. The playback is extremely fluid. We don't experience any fragmentation, and the color saturation and exposure levels is all where they're supposed to be. And in my opinion, Apple and Samsung have went out of their way to ensure two awesome tablets hit the market here in 2013. Now, as for a winner for these two tablets, it's really up to you guys at the end of the day which tablet and which ecosystem you prefer. I'm actually going to keep both tablets because I prefer both ecosystems. I love enjoying both sides of Android and Apple. Now, both tablets are pretty pricey, and you're going to pay a pretty nice premium for both, with the Apple iPad mini starting off at $329 and the Samsung Galaxy Note 8.0 starting off at $399. With that being said, both products are made with superior quality in mind, and I would highly recommend them both to you guys. If you guys are interested in winning the Samsung Galaxy Note 8.0, I'm going to go ahead and drop a link down in the description to the giveaway. Be sure to enter that and win a free Note 8.0. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap this one up for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and enjoyed the content. All my social links are down in the description. Be sure to follow me there. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.